Hello and welcome to my revision video on Kamikaze, which is one of my favourite poems and I think a really useful one to know really well because I think it applies to an awful lot of poems and can be compared to a wide variety quite easily. So just like normal, I'm going to take you through the art scroll for this poem. I'm going to take you through the key information about what it's about and the message about power and conflict, and then we're going to get on to our analysis. So, Kamikaze. Kamikaze tells a story about a Japanese kamikaze pilot in World War II. The kamikaze pilots were pilots that would drop their load of bombs, but then they would fly their planes into the enemy target, so they were suicide pilots. He should have flown his planes to an enemy target to help bring about victory and glory to his country and honour to himself and his family. It was an incredibly honourable thing to do, to die as a kamikaze pilot. But instead, on his flight, he notices how beautiful the world is, he recalls some happy memories of his life and how special his family is. So, controversially, he turns his plane around and he goes home, and in doing so, disgraces his family. So this shows the power of love, the power of dishonour and nature, and it also shows the conflict between duty and choice, the conflict of war of World War II, but also the conflict between the violence of humanity and the beauty of nature. Now, Garland's key messages here is that is it better to die a hero or to live a villain? And she doesn't actually answer this question by the end. It leaves us up to us to decide what this kamikaze pilot should have done. She also has a message that it's human instinct to love and find beauty like the pilot, but we are taught to hate just like his children are. We also see the power of hate and dishonour is far stronger than we realise. So, techniques. First of all, we've got my favourite one, strung out like bunting is a nice simile. So bunting is associated with celebration and parties, so to the pilot the beauty of the world is worth celebrating, it's worth living for. However, the bunting is below him, suggesting that his party is over and it's finished, the decorations are all on the floor. So the celebration of the world is finished as humans are engrossed in conflict. His personal celebration is also over, as he will either die or live in shame. There's not going to be any more celebrations for him regardless. The other one I look at is this metaphor of a figure of 8, which, as you probably know, is a symbol of infinity because a figure of 8 will never stop. It keeps going round and round and round. This reflects how his shame will be everlasting, but so will the beauty and the conflict in the world. His choice here is very small and insignificant compared to the rest of the world. It's going to keep going on regardless, like a figure of 8, and he has no power to change that for better or for worse. In terms of the structure, the key bit is this last stanza, which switches to the child's point of view, and this is indicated by the italics. So this shows the shame and the dishonour extends beyond him, it even affects the next generations. He chose to live for love for them, but because of the power of hate overpowers the power of love, so therefore it's dishonour and shame that lasts rather than his endearing love as a father. Now, critically, they put the last question here. Sometimes, she said, he must have wondered which had been the better way to die. And this final question is not answered. There isn't a following verse to this that says which would have been the better way to die. So this suggests that Garland and the children and the pilot did not know the answer, so which indicates that in conflict there are no easy choices. But this might also hint a bit of forgiveness here, for the child doesn't fully understand what the better option would have been. So maybe this could be Garland showing that as time passes, maybe love can actually beat hate. Now, word choices. First of all, nice easy one for you to remember for your exam is this pronoun he. They don't refer to him as dad, they don't give him any respect, or they don't regard him as a father anymore. The dishonour that he has brought on their family has destroyed any sort of relationship that they could ever have with him. The other one is learned. Now, children instinctively love their parents. Love comes naturally to human beings. We, from birth, know how we love our parents and we love our family, but they have to learn to hate their dad. Therefore, it shows that love comes far more naturally than hate does. This demonstrates also the futility of conflict. The hate and war is something that humans are nurtured to do, but our instinct, like the pilot, is to live for love. We have to learn to have war with each other. Now onto our alliteration. We've got this nice sibilance here, shore, sulph, sodden, awash, which is some nice pleasant soft S and sh sounds, reflecting the sound of the sea, the sound of the waves, which is lovely because we can hear the natural beauty of the sea the pilot can see. And the sound of the waves never stops. Waves will never stop being waves. This is the same way as the natural beauty of the world will never stop, that the pilot's shame will never end, and the conflict will continue regardless of him. A bit like the figure of 8, this shows that the pilot really has very little say over what's going to happen, because the beauty, the conflict, his shame will all keep going regardless of whatever choice he makes. Finally, in terms of the rhythm and rhyme, there's a consistent rhythmic syllable count throughout this poem. This is a very simple and clear rhythm which reflects the simplicity of his decision. He chose to live for love and beauty, and that was quite an instinctive, natural thing to do. It's human instinct to want to live and enjoy life. However, this whole poem is only 2 sentences. Here they are, just the 2 full stops. There's also quite a few caesuras in here. There's vast swathes or enjambment and whole lines that go on for quite a few times which haven't got lots of caesuras in them. This makes it quite a quick poem, which demonstrates the instinctive speed the decision was made to live, but also how instinctive it is for someone to learn to hate as well. It also sounds like it's being told orally, so someone is telling the story, reflecting again how the hate and dishonour has been passed down from generation to generation. People have been told what they should think or feel about someone who brings this honour and disregard to their family.